time now, 6:04, and it's only Thursday, but we continue our 7 and 4 summer tour just a little earlier this week to accommodate the busy Labor Day weekend. And this morning, 7 to 4's Melissa Smith is out at 45 North Vineyard and Winery in Leelanau County to show what they have to offer visitors in the area. Melissa, good morning.
Good morning, Brody. That's right. Summer is not officially over just yet, and that's why we continue the 7 and 4 News Today Summer Wine Tour. This morning, though, like you mentioned, we're at 45 North Winery in Sutton's Bay over in Leelanau County, and lucky enough to be speaking with the owner of 45 North, Steve Grossnickle, also known as Sevy by a lot of people. So, Steve,
yes,
thank you for having us here.
Well, thank you, Alyssa, for coming.
I also want to first mention that you officially, though, you live in Indiana and you have the winery here, so you're traveling back and forth a lot. You have a couple of big passions. You're an ophthalmologist and you own 45 North.
Yes, I am employed in 2 places.
So tell me how everything started. This was something that kind of came out of the blue for you and turned into a huge wine business.
Right. In the early 80s, my wife and I came north here and bought a home on Little Traverse Lake. So we've been here for 30 years when the wine industry was starting. My best friend in high school is actually head of the California Wine Judges and was visiting us in 2000. He walked through the door and said, "Michigan white grapes are among the best in the world." And I told my wife we're going to start a winery. And
you started 45 North.
Yes, ma'am, we did. And it's 45 North because the 45th parallel runs about right here through the winery.
So we are literally between right now the equator and the North Pole at that 45-degree mark.
Yes, we had 3 GPSs line up within 3 inches of each other, and we dug the hole right there. You can stand there and know there's the North Pole and there's the equator, and you're within an inch of both those.
Unbelievable. And speaking with Steve Grossnickle, the owner here. And Steve, thank you again for having us despite our technical difficulties this morning.
Thank you for coming, Alyssa. We really appreciate that.
You have a very good sense of humor, which I appreciate. That is something that I think is amazing. And here at 45 North, you have some signs that you're also created too to kind of go along with your wines.
Right, that is correct. They're instructional signs. So we're trying to, instruct people about wine and wine drinking. Right.
And so, which is great to know as well. And also, I want to talk, getting back here to some of the awards that you have won. And is there one that you think really stands out?
Well, I really do think that with food, the rosé is just fabulous. I call it a brunch wine. You can drink that with waffles and pancakes for breakfast.
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Yes, ma'am.
And in about 20 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer, we're going to come back. We're going to talk specifically about the types of wines that you have here, and also a little bit too more about the history involved with 45 North.
Right, and we can talk a little bit about the Michigan white grapes and how great they're considered in the world.
Excellent. Looking forward to it. Steve, thank you so much. For now, though, we are live at 45 North in Sutton's Bay. Sending it back to you, Brody, in the studio. I'm Melissa Smith, 7 and 4 News.
And the time now, 6:35. It's only Thursday, but we continue our 7 and 4 Today Summer Wine Tour to accommodate the busy Labor Day weekend. And this morning, 7 and 4's Melissa Smith is at 45 North Vineyard and Winery in Leelanau County to show us why so many visitors are drawn to that area. Melissa, that's one of my favorite wineries out there. How are you this morning?
I know it's one of your favorites. It's beautiful out here. It's actually my first time being here at 45 North in Leelanau County. And of course, we are talking wine as we continue our 7 and 4 News Today Summer Wine Tour. I want to introduce the wine tasting manager this morning. This is Channing Sutton, and she's the woman behind all of the tastings that happen here. She's the manager in the tasting room. Channing, again, talking wine, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for being with us.
I want to first talk about how the tastings work here at 45 North.
So we offer actually 2 complimentary pours, and then if anybody wants to do additional tasting after that, it's just $1 per taste, and we have a wide range of wines here. Fruits, sparklings, we have dry whites, which Rieslings you can do in a dry fashion, a semi-dry, or a sweet. We have all 3. We have dessert wines, we have port wines, and then we also have our rosé of Cabernet Franc, which is a big award winner for us this season. We've taken gold at the Michigan Wine and Spirits competition. We took gold actually at the Long Beach Grand Cru, the Pacific Rim International, and then the Tasters Guild International as well. So we're pretty proud of it. And rosés can be done in many different ways as well.
And now if I were to come here and do a tasting, you typically start with the rosé, is that correct?
You would start with a drier wine first. Now, our rosé is done in a semi-dry fashion, and so today we're going to taste the rosé and then also a hard chapel, which is a cider. It's cherry and apple, 70% organic antique apple juice, and then 30% Montmorency cherry juice added to it, done lightly carbonated. So you would want to finish with this one being as it's a little bit sweeter. So the rosé of Cabernet Franc, pretty special for us. We're one of the only ones that do a rosé from Cabernet Franc grapes. Primarily they're done with Pinot Noir. Now this one was done 36 hours, kept on with the skins to give it the color that it has, this kind of dark ruby red, bright style that you get. So this you'll have a little bit more of the tannin forward effect, cleansing on the front of the palate, and then more of the fruit on the finish. So watermelon, dark cherry, raspberry flavors. And this one really with food too, you can do anything. We did Easter dinner with it, a cherry honey glazed ham. You could do Thanksgiving dinner with it if you wanted as well. So a lot of options with rosés. They're not just sweet boxed wines all the time.
And Channing, I want to quickly ask you too, because you look at these bottles and we don't see cork. And I've noticed this in a lot of the wineries, they're tending to move away from the cork. Tell me a little bit about the tops here.
Well, screw caps really, they hold better. You don't have the risk of tainted cork. And basically, you know, general public, you know, you don't know how to store a wine traditionally. You always want to keep it on its side if it's corked, and you want to turn it a quarter for every quarter. So just every season, turn your wine a little bit, and it keeps that cork wet on the inside. Now, we are primarily moving to screw caps. This actually, for anything under 5 years of sitting, it actually tends to hold better, and you don't have that risk of tainted cork or bacteria in your wine, or it getting dry and then, you know, letting oxygen in. So I would say primarily a lot of them, and like New Zealand, all they do are screw caps. Nobody does cork down there anymore.
Very interesting. I'll have to keep my eye out for these more often.
Alyssa, can you lift your glass?
Yes.
You and Bob are very talented people.
Well, thank you. We try. Of course, Bob is behind the camera. He's the man doing that part of the job. But again, Channing Sutton is the wine tasting manager here at 45 North. That's where we've been all morning long, out in Leelanau County. We're going to send it back to you guys in the studio. I'm Melissa Smith, 7 and 4 News.